BME people are more involved in crime. Black people make up 3% of the population but make up 9% of arrests and 14% of prison population.
I don't want to get too fixated with the figures. They might tell a certain story, but probably spending a day in the community with somebody who lives in the community, from the BME community, they'll probably be able to tell you a lot more about what's going on and how to put things in a different way, putting things back together again, than maybe you can from looking at a load of statistics.
The young people's voices are really important in this, because the world looks very different from the point of view of somebody of my age. I have, because of what I do, probably easier access across different communities, but I don't see the world through the eyes of a 17-year-old.
Well, we live in a subliminally racist society, which is a true thing. Like, it doesn't, like, a lot of people think that because cultures have started to mix and stuff, that racism doesn't really exist anymore, or like it's not a big issue.
There are still issues of racism, and we've had over the last few years fears about the growth of the far right, people who have a very clear ideology, very clear policies that are based on hatred and hatred of difference, and particularly hatred of people of colour.
Making decisions is quite old-fashioned. Some of the ways we communicate are quite old-fashioned, and I think we've got to start to look to different ways. Taking the decisions out of the town hall, why should they be made here? Why should we have to bring you guys in here to help make decisions? Why don't we take the decision-making out into our communities? And I think that will start to break down some of the barriers.
I think, first of all, sometimes the processes are really unfriendly, aren't they? Not just for young people, actually, for anyone who's never been involved in a group before. You've got to understand the rules and the regulations, and sometimes they are just there to put people off getting involved. So I think that's one problem that young people and all sectors of the community can face.
So I'll say these projects, policies or programs which involve young people, it's necessary to get their input so that they feel part of whatever is going on. That way they can participate better, develop better, and achieve better outcomes from the policies which we make.
One of the reasons Old Trafford works really well is because people do live side by side, you know, it's real hugger-mugger.
And I've lived in Old Trafford for about 11 years, 12 years, and we have all kinds of race, and I think Old Trafford as a community are tight in terms of everybody gets along with each other. There's never been nothing bad said about anybody in terms of race, and everyone likes to mingle in when there's community events going on. You see everybody, all kinds of race, all there together.
I feel racial groups group together because maybe they find it easier to feel comfortable around their own people, do you know what I mean? However, that does not mean that we should not be able to integrate with each other's communities.
Yeah, I'm still coming, I'm still coming.
The play go outside.
Yeah, I'm still gonna. Alright, I'll shout you later. Alright. Yeah, that's cool.
She looks about 5.
Was she on a date?
Yeah, she came from that house. Anyway, get
Oh,
there,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
I work on my headers. She's still there.
Rolling about.
Flipping hell.
Stand there for now.
Do you know what? If that was, do you think I would ever let my kid roam about the streets like that?
Yo, where's the mum and dad? They
Came out of that house there. Now I'm back in her dad's in the kitchen or her mum's in the kitchen.
Then again, yo, like parents obviously, they might have been distracted. There might be something going on in the house. We ain't got no idea what's
Yeah,
about the
but
place.
come on, really though. If you had a kid, would you let your kid do that? Roam about the street?
Yo, my bad about the other day with my sisters, you know.
Do you know what? Yeah, I probably over exaggerated a little bit, but it's gone. It's another day, innit?
Are you sure about that? I don't know what they were doing. They were just being a bit dumb that day because of what happened, innit? So
Nah,
they were.
forget about it. It's nothing.
Alright. Come, let's jam anyways, man. We need to kick the tire once
You
more.
know what? It's raining. It's gonna rain. It looks. Gone.
Oh, bad man.
What's his trick? Oh, you're not ready.
What support do these offer to young parents beside from benefit and housing, for example, training wise and courses, etc.?
That's a great question, and we don't offer any. Which,
Sorry, I know some entity, but why not?
good question. I'm not sure, you know, but I would be all for getting a youth forum or young people together and saying, well, can we look at youth housing issues? Because being a youth worker and you're talking to young people between the ages of, say, 16 and 25, the number one thing or priority for young people is housing.
We're not communicating what is out there enough. We're not good at saying these services are here for you and are available, and we've got to understand how, you know, maybe the methods that we're using aren't as good as we need to use.
I know there's a popular perception that there are lots of teenage mums running around living off the state on a small fortune, and it isn't true. They're bringing up their kids on pretty small incomes and doing a great job, obviously, often, you know, making ends meet on very, very tight budgets and doing their best for their kids.
There's no saying that it takes a village to bring up a child, and I believe that, and I don't necessarily think that if two young people or one young person decides to have a child or happens to have a child, that they should be left on their own to fend for themselves.
Strongly, I believe the family is a big issue here, because the family develops the psychosocial skills of the individual. So if that escapes the family and then is out to how the individual interacts with friends out there, it's a jungle, right? There's peer pressure, and if the young man or young woman has not been modeled to be able to, you know, to have the skills to interact and survive in the jungle, they'll fall prey to whatever goes out there. And
People want to hear what young people here think they like about where they live and what they like about their lives and what they don't like and what they'd like to be different. And once we've heard some of that, then I can start to think about how I can try and make things better for people where they're raising sensible questions or concerns. Or sometimes things are quite hard to do. You know, money is tight, and we have to talk about maybe how we could get some of the things that we want. If we can't afford them immediately, what could we do on the way? What steps could we take? I think it's working with young people. I don't think it's coming in saying, what do you want, going away, and then coming back and saying, well, here you are, here it is. I think it's going to have to be a cooperative, collaborative project.
Unfortunately, for some people in our communities, they fall in with bad crowds or bad habits. These are perhaps the people who need the most help and initiative to be pushed forward in the right direction, to make our community a happier and more positively productive place for everyone. When most people hear Old Trafford, they immediately think Manchester United football ground. This is the image portrayed to the world of Old Trafford. But when I hear Old Trafford, I think of a great multicultural community filled with undiscovered talent. And hopefully, most people will see it this way as time goes along.
Living in Old Trafford most of my life, the biggest problem we've had as young people is lack of services and the right support to be pushed in the right direction. This film has opened my eyes and put me in the real world, to have the chance as a young person to get my voice heard and to make changes in my community. Perhaps youth engagement in decision making and more activities for young people in Old Trafford will make a real difference.
Throughout this film, I have learnt so much, not only about myself, but the issues arising in our community on a personal level, which I have been blind to for so many years. Issues which have to be dealt with as soon as possible if we hope to build a better Old Trafford community. I can't believe how much of a sheltered and fortunate life I have lived, stopping me from having to face some of the drastic, motionless issues in this film. However, I am no longer blinded to these issues, and my heart goes out to those in our community who live with the struggle day by day. I hope to see Old Trafford community develop both environmentally and on an individual, personal level. I hope to see more activities for young people to get involved in. I hope to see both young people and old people being able to have a real impact on decision making, as I feel there is right now a lack of knowledge. Hence, people aren't aware of how to be heard, although we have a voice.
Looking at this footage, it is clear to see a main problem is lack of communication. As a first-time father, Mario could have been taught how to be a better parent had he known where or when classes are available. It seems the people in power would agree they need to do more to find out about what youth want, and more importantly, what they need to help anyone going through these challenges or prevent them from existing in the first place. Hopefully this film will encourage the young people to use their voices to help influence decisions made in society, and show the people in charge the best way to know what we need is simply by asking us.